What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the Paul brothers. What is next for two of the most genuine, outstanding humans in the world? But before I get into the video, I'm going to need you guys to hit that subscribe button. Please hit the subscribe button. I need to be seeing more up and less stagnant. So go ahead and hit that button for me. Hit the like button and leave a comment too. But today we're going to be talking about what is next for these two guys in their boxing careers. Logan has recently said on his podcast with Dave Portnoy that he's going to be boxing soon, which is interesting. And Jake, of course, has a plethora of options for his next boxing fight. So we're going to get into it. And I think we're going to start with Logan. So, Logan Paul last fought an exhibition fight in the summer of 2021 against Floyd Money Mayweather. Prior to that, he had a couple fights with KSI. But he's been relatively inactive in the world of combat sports lately. He's doing his thing with the WWE. And he's got the Prime going on. So I guess he's been promoting that. As well as doing his podcast. So, and also he was dealing with an injury. But now it seems that he's almost rearing and ready to go. And there's been a lot of rumors going on that say that he's going to be fighting Darren Till. Darren Till was a UFC veteran. He fought for a title at one point. He's predominantly known for his striking. And he's recently been released. And he said he was released to, deal with some injuries that he's had nagging on. And that would mean he probably wouldn't be available for a boxing match with Logan. But maybe he's boxing Logan. If that's the case, it's a semi-interesting fight. I thought we had outgrown the whole fighting UFC veterans who are now released from the organization. But I guess not. I guess there is no shame in that whatsoever for these guys. But I'm going to be telling you guys who I think Logan could and should fight if it's not Darren Till. I think he should fight Hasim Rahman Jr. Based purely on the fact that Logan said it was on site with him when Hasim said something about the Paul brothers' mom on Twitter. In response to Jake saying things about his dad. So, I mean, all's fair after that. But Logan likes to talk like, oh, it's on site. But then Logan goes on to call out guys like Floyd Mayweather, who was 147 pounds. Paddy Pimblett, who's 155 pounds. And Hasim is Logan Paul's size. And he can box. So, we already know how the Paul brothers get down. They're not going to fight that kind of guy. Jake fought a semi-decent boxer at around the same level as him, so I can't really say that about Jake too much anymore. But Logan is not interested in competition. He's interested in getting a win, I believe. But with that being said, I think Hasim would make the most sense. Go on Misfits, headline a card. And the beef's already built in. Hasim was supposed to fight Jake. Hasim and Logan had a back and forth. And it sells itself. Outside of Hasim, I think Logan could fight the winner of the next main event for Misfits. Le'Veon Bell versus JMX. JMX and Logan have had this weird back and forth for a while now. JMX has been calling for that fight for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if that was Logan's return fight, but JMX has to get through Le'Veon Bell. And Le'Veon Bell looked really good in his two fights. So maybe if Le'Veon gets the upper hand on JMX, we could see Logan Paul versus Le'Veon Bell, which I think sells a lot. I really do. Maybe KSI on the main event against somebody in August, and then Logan Paul and Le'Veon Bell as the co-main event. That'd be pretty big if you ask me. Especially if it's KSI versus the winner of the Kingpin tournament, which is what he has hinted at. But, yeah, those are like the options that I think are out there for Logan right now. Of course, there's other people he could pull out of a hat, but he might be fighting Darren Till. But I'd like to see him fight Hasim or maybe the winner of this main event coming up. But that leads us to Jake Paul, always in the news in terms of the boxing world, especially the influencer boxing world. Recently had a run-in with Floyd Mayweather and his group of goons outside of the Miami Heat game. They basically ran up on Jake, and Jake hit that track star. But I would have did the same thing. I ain't faulting Jake. There's 20, 30 people there trying to jump you. You got to do the dash and live to see another day. But the interesting thing about Jake versus Floyd would be that Jake's demanding that it's a fight, not an exhibition. A completely legit, sanctioned, professional fight. Which is weird because what's the weight going to be? Is it going to be like Jake weighs in at 75 and Mayweather weighs in at 55 or something like that? Or 65 maybe, if he could even do that. In which case, it's a bit of a too much of a show for me. I'd rather see them fight if they were around the same weight. But nonetheless, if it happened, I'm gonna watch it. Or he could go the route of the Tommy Fury rematch. But I don't think that's wise, because first of all, I'm big in this scene. I love this scene, and I don't really care to see that right now. I would rather see him fight KSI in the summer. KSI seems to be pushing to move this fight up to the summer. I would love to see that. From what I'm hearing from Mams Taylor and them is that Jake doesn't want to fight KSI in the summer. It's interesting because everybody was saying that KSI was scared of Jake for a while, and now it looks like Jake, I'm not going to say he's scared of KSI, but it seems like he's uninterested in making that fight happen at this moment, which he's always been interested, so I don't understand why the sudden change. I guess he really either wants to get one back with Tommy or he wants to fight Floyd Mayweather, which who wouldn't want to fight Floyd Mayweather? You get the opportunity of a lifetime to win the fight, or you lose the fight and literally nobody faults you at all. You get credit for each punch you land against Floyd. You get credit for each second you last against Floyd. I mean, just look at Logan. Gets all the credit in the world for being 900 times the size of Floyd and surviving. I don't give him credit for that. It's pretty ridiculous if you ask me. You're 200 something pounds. You look jacked to the gills on steroids, and you have been training boxing for like 3 years at that point, and you couldn't even beat a guy who's 45 years old and 147 pounds. I don't even care if it is Floyd Mayweather. That's embarrassing to me, but that's just the way I look at it. A lot of people give him credit for lasting. He should have been able to stick behind the jab, use his length, and win that fight, but he wasn't able to do that. So Jake could fight Floyd and get credit for everything. I mean, look at Deji. Deji landed like one punch against Floyd, and all people talk about is, he gave Floyd a black eye. Are we going to talk about how Floyd was literally just toying with him the entire time and then finished him as soon as he wanted to? No, we're not going to talk about that. My point being is everybody gets credit. Conor McGregor, he made it to the 10th round. He won rounds against Floyd. Like, there's no loss in fighting Floyd Mayweather. So I could understand why Jake would want to do it. And Jake already got his L out of the way, so it's not like he's undefeated and he can't afford to lose anymore. So, but the thing I will say is KSI has been saying that if Jake fights anybody aside from Tommy, instead of fighting him, that he ducked him. And I got to say, I agree with that. If he fights Floyd instead of KSI when it's the perfect time to make the KSI fight happen, then it's kind of, first of all, it's ducking. And second of all, it's exactly what these guys are supposed to be the opposite of. These guys are supposed to be the opposite of traditional boxing. The struggles that we go through in traditional boxing to see any matchup that we want to see. We can never see the good matchups. The Spence Crawford. We're finally going to see Garcia and Tank, but how long did we wait for Pacquiao Mayweather? Like, these fights take forever. We never even got Wilder Joshua because they waited too long. And that's kind of what I'm fearing with KSI and Jake. There's been a prime time for them to fight back in 2020. They didn't do it. Then there was a prime time for them to fight last year. They didn't do it. And then there was a prime time for them to fight right now. And they're not going to do it. So what happens if Jake goes and loses to Floyd, and then Jake decides he wants to fight Tommy and loses to Tommy, and then it's Jake's got 3 losses. KSI is pretty much at this point uninterested. He goes back into the music thing and goes back into all his other things he has going on, and the fight never happens. Or then the fight happens 3-4 more years from now, and nobody cares. Do it now. I want to see Jake fight KSI. If it were up to me, August, KSI Jake, Logan Hassim, boom, that's the card. But let me know in the comments what you guys think should be next for the Paul brothers. And hit that subscribe button. Love y'all. See y'all soon.